Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on prepping for your speeches at the National Landcare Conference 2021. My name is Alexi, and I'm here with Marie from Landcare Australia. We're just going to talk you through a couple of things. Before I get started on what we're going to talk about today, I'm just going to hand over to Marie for acknowledgement of country.
Thank you very much, Alexi, and hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm actually in the middle of a metropolis. I'm here in Chatswood today in the Landcare Australia office. And so I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the Cammeraygal people of the past, present and future. And I'd actually think it'd be really cool if you would like to add into the comments where you're from, the land that you're from today, so that we can all get a bit of a picture. Because as I said, I'm in Chatswood and I know that our audience are from far and wide. So thank you, and back to Lexi.
Awesome, thanks for that, Marie. So look, I'll just quickly walk through what we're going to talk about today. There's a couple of different things that we're going to discuss. It should be a fairly brief session. We're just going to walk through firstly Landcarer and the online delegate program that we currently have going. As you all know, we're in fairly unprecedented times with the pandemic still raging. And as a consequence, not as many people as normally get to attend the conference face-to-face. So instead, we have a platform that will be providing that kind of engagement that you normally get with that face-to-face experience of the conference online through the digital medium of Landcarer. And I'll just walk you through how that all works and different ways in which you, as a speaker, can leverage the online delegate community that we've already built up to help you with your speech, to get some information around the perspectives of people within the community, and to promote your speech to ensure that as many people as possible come and view the fantastic things that you have to say on the day. Then I will talk briefly about cross-promotion and how to optimize your own sharing of this event and of your speech across your own channels, including social media and via email. And then I'll hand over to Marie, who will give you some pro tips on putting together the presentation that you're giving, and give you some advice regarding that and things to remember on the day. And now, before we get cracking, I just want to qualify one thing, which is that I am concomitantly running this webinar from a technical perspective and also talking on it. So I do apologize for any potential lag in myself, which will be a product of me trying to do about 43 things at once. So please bear with me if something does happen. You're all such an understanding bunch, I'm sure it will be fine. And without further ado, let's just have a look at Landcarer. Now, this will be fairly brief. This is the National Landcare Conference topic area, which can be found on the platform by going to Topics, All Topics, and then finding the 2021 National Landcare Conference. As you might be able to see there, it might be kind of small on your screen, we already have over 200 people that are members of this topic area as online delegates, and that's only the start. It's likely that that number is going to immensely skyrocket, as now we've essentially filled up our space or our capacity for in-person attendance, and so everyone else looking towards this conference in the next couple of months building up to it is going to become an online delegate. And the idea around this is that we want to be able to provide a space in which people who didn't get a ticket to attend face-to-face or can't attend because of different restrictions due to COVID can still get the experience and the interaction and the networking opportunities that come from the national conference. So this is an excellent place for people to go to interact and to discuss the different topics that they're interested in. And for yourselves as speakers, it's a great place for you to promote your actual speech on the day, to ensure that people understand exactly what you're talking about and when you're talking about it. So I really, really encourage all of you, if you can, to post about what you will be talking about, to share interesting content around that. And there's a number of other ways in which you can leverage the online delegate program to your advantage on the day. And one of those, for example, would be creating polls. So you have the ability to create a poll or a quiz, and with the feedback that you get from this page and from these different online delegates, you will be able to get an understanding of the perceptions of different people within the Landcare community around a specific topic. So if you're interested in working in some poll survey responses that represent people's knowledge about the topic area you want to talk about, it's an excellent way to sort of garner those responses through this online platform. So we really encourage that you interact and that you share on it. Another way in which you can use it to your advantage is through the stories function. Now, stories are essentially just little mini blogs that you can write, and you can write them within this topic area to communicate exactly what you are going to be doing on the day, the specific subject material that you're interested in, and in doing so, share that information with this now 200, soon to be 1,000, if all goes well, group of people. So please, I encourage you to go on Landcare and to engage through this medium. It's an excellent way for you to meet other people in the community. And as you post, you'll find that other people that want to talk to you about that subject will be messaging you, and it's a great way to meet people. Furthermore, to Landcare, there is something else that we're looking at doing, and if it's something that you're interested in, please get in contact with either Marie or myself, and that is a Champions program, which basically is going to identify subject area experts in the Landcare community, such as yourselves, on a specific topic, to actually help drive content on the platform. So if it's something that you're interested in actually being engaged in long term, please reach out to us and we can have a conversation about setting up a relationship to do so. The final thing that I'm going to talk to you about today is cross-promotion on your own channels. I know that social media is a monster that's hard to handle for many people, but we're going to try to make it as easy as possible so that you can maximize your own exposure and the amount of connectivity that you get from your opportunity to present at the conference by giving you some resources that actually help you promote your own speech and encourage people to come and watch it live across your own channels. So after this webinar is concluded, we'll send you an email which will have a promotion kit, which just gives you some pro tips on the best way to write a social media post, how to include a call to action, which calls people to take a specific action. It's fairly self-explanatory, i.e. Register as an online delegate to make sure you don't miss out on all of the amazing content for the 2021 National Conference. So we'll send you a promo kit. It gives you also tips on if you want to use images, what size images to use on different social media platforms, and gives you some basic copy that you can sort of use and alter to your fancy, just to save you the effort of having to write anything yourself if you so desire. That will come out, as I said, about an hour after this concludes. It will also include images in it. So some of the images that will be there will be fitted for both Facebook and Instagram. They can also be used on Twitter or LinkedIn. And it's going to be a banner that essentially says, I'm a speaker at the 2021 National Conference, which you can share with a post to encourage people to tune in and to make sure they catch all the lovely content that you will be presenting. There will also be a banner size for email if you want to make that your signature. So when you're emailing people about this event, you can have that professional guise that we all so deeply desire. And that is about it for me. So I'm going to hand over to Marie, who will now talk you through some tips on how to best succeed in your presentations.
Thanks so much, Alexi. So Alexi's talked about the many ways you can promote your speaking opportunity and how you can get your message out there. And so now we'd just like to provide you with a little bit of advice that might help you when preparing for your stream session. So I guess it's really important to note that your PowerPoint and your abstract and also a recording of your stream session will be available on the Landcare platform after the event. As Lexi mentioned about with COVID-19, this has provided us with a number of challenges, but also some opportunities for people like yourselves to maximise your presence in your field of work after an event like a conference. So I guess what I'm saying is, as well as the attendees at the face-to-face forum, where we have hundreds of delegates already registered, as Alexi mentioned, we've got over 200 delegates registered to attend the online conference, and then post-conference, your presentations are potentially going to go out to quite a large audience, which is really exciting. And I'm hoping these next few slides may provide some support and advice when it comes to fine-tuning that message that you want to tell this audience. As I said, because you may end up with quite a large audience if you think about it. So before we start, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about me. My name's Marie Whelan, as you can see on that screen, and I'm currently employed by Landcare Australia as a casual to help coordinate the National Landcare Conference. And I've had the opportunity to share emails with lots of the stream speakers and the posters and organise the field trips. And I'm finding the job just really exciting, basically, because there's so much great information that you people are willing to share with our audience. So it's been really exciting today. But I also work in an engagement role in my second job with Local Land Services, New South Wales Local Land Services, where I actually coordinate lots of events, including workshops and forums, not so much at the national level, but generally at the regional level. And prior to this, I worked for local government in that area of engagement and education as well. And so I've been involved in lots of different environmental education engagement events over the years as a guest speaker. And I've also coordinated a number of events over the years. So both those sorts of roles. So, okay, let's get started. The next few slides it'll be more about that preparing your presentation, that prior to the day. And then I'll also include a slide with some information on the actual day, just a few bits and pieces that you need to know about. And please don't stress, because we will be providing you with some documentation prior to the event about it, but just a really good opportunity to share in this webinar space. So next slide. Thanks, Lexi. I think Lexi's doing all the technical work for me today. I just get to be the speaker, which is pretty cool. So I know many of you are seasoned presenters, and I'm not assuming you're not. I know you are, and I know you've got lots of experience, but it is really important to think about the preparation for a 20-minute session. It can be challenging. It's quite different to a longer style presentation. It's a bit like that long form journalism over the shorter, sharper pieces of work, and it does require some planning to ensure you can get your message across in the most effective way. So we really stress it's important to time your presentation as part of that prep. I know it sounds really obvious, but so many times we just, we overlook that little bit. The program is really tight. I'm sure you've had a look at the program online, and it will run to schedule. So there's 25 minutes allocated to each stream session, 20 minutes for the presentation, and then around that 5 minutes for the questions and answers. And then there's a 5-minute changeover between each stream session. So you can see it's really tight. And so it's really important that you keep to this time so that we're not running over time as an event. So hopefully this little presentation will help you deliver your 20-minute presentation in the best way possible. So the PowerPoint, I've just got on this first slide here. I think this is a really great little tool that PowerPoint has come up with. And it's an opportunity, if you go into the slideshow part of the PowerPoint program on your desktop or your laptop, there's a little tool that you can use to help you time your slides. You just need to click on the slideshow and then click rehearse timings to help you work out the amount of time to have each of your slides. And I just think it's a really valuable tool to use. It might be helpful. There's obviously other ways with timing, but I just thought I'd share that one with you because I think it's a really cool little tool. Thank you, Lexi. Next slide, please. Okay, keep it simple. one of the things that I think is really important, and I know that you would be aware of this, but keeping your presentation simple and concentrating on your core messages. Now, many experts in this field believe that you should have no more than 3 key messages in a 20-minute presentation. So 3 key messages, that's what you want to be thinking about all the time when you're developing your presentation. So whether I've looked at it, as I said, I've looked at the abstracts in the program, and whether you're presenting on a sustainable ag program or you're just talking about a great community partnership in action project, is a really good way to weave your 3 key take-homes in your presentation is to find the story behind your presentation. Think about yourself as a storyteller. The presenter is the storyteller. So you sort of might be wondering what I mean by this. Well, the first thing I think is important to do is to look at the focus of your presentation and work out whether your story is about the characters or people behind the story, or is it about a problem that involved or a change or a shift in thinking? Is your story related to a new initiative? I've actually had a look at all of your amazing abstracts, and there's some amazing abstracts out there I've noticed, and I can see the story behind each and every one of the presentations. So it is really worth looking at that, and there's some really good online resources about how to find a story in the content that you're working on. Now, a few other points to note. It can be good to use humour, but like to put your audience at ease, but this is really not mandatory if it's not your thing. I don't think, you see it all the time, use humour, but it can be pretty clunky if you're not relaxed and you don't feel like it's your thing. So don't say it's a valid, important thing if it's not. But I really like people to think about how you might be able to personalise the story you're delivering. So if your presentation is related to a change in farming practices or a shift in thinking, it might be good to recollect the time in the past that you remember as a pivotal moment when you really kind of came to a pivotal time when you really rethought the way things were being done. And it could be about the first time you decided to form a group or you joined a group. It's interesting, I was recently involved in a Landcare forum, and I heard a really lovely story about a Landcare group where the presenter was talking about the very first time he was invited along to this group as the weed expert, and he turned up to the group thinking he was going to help this particular bunch of people by teaching them some great weed control techniques, and he was all excited. And what he found was that they all wanted to just sit around and have tea and cake, and he actually shared with us that he did that for about 18 times before he got them weeding. And I guess what he was trying to get across, which he did in a very eloquent way, was it takes a lot of community interaction to get a group together. Don't just think you're going to get them all weeding from the word go. But I just really loved the way he talked about the tea and the cake and the way it was 18 times. And it was really a very, very personal story. And I thought that is something that I remembered and took home. Another way to really engage a group when it comes to storytelling, and I know a lot of you are already aware of this, but it's a great thing to remember at the very beginning when you're preparing for your presentation. Think about that call to action. It's a good way to connect with your audience. Think about what you would like your audience to take away from your presentation. Is it that you want them to touch base with you? Is it as simple as that? Is that the take home? Is it that you want them to find out about this tool that you've been discussing? Is it that you want them to click onto a website? Whatever it is, please think about that call to action and make sure you weave that into your presentation as well. Thank you very much, Lexi. Next slide. So I thought I'd better put the death by PowerPoint slide up because we've all heard that term being used, and it's very realistic. And actually, Guy Kawasaki from Apple, he believes that a 20-minute presentation should contain no more than 10 slides with a font size of no less than 30 points. And I tend to go along with that. And I'm not saying that you all should come with 10 slides. That's not what we mean. By all means, you work out how many slides you need to tell your story and how many slides you can, manage with on the day. But I actually think this is where we often get caught out when presenting short, sharp presentations. not only do we try to cover too much content, but we develop a huge amount of slides to cover off this content. And I've said it to myself before, and I know others have said it to me, I'll just flick through these slides very quickly and get to the point. And those flicking through those slides can be very problematic. It can take time for the slides to change. It can get you into a bit of a fix. You end up rushing. And in actual fact, you're creating a lot of noise for your audience. So really think about it. I was recently preparing a Landcare event in Greater Sydney and had someone ask me to load up 70 slides for a 15-minute presentation. I actually flagged this as an issue to the presenter, and they culled the presentation down to 30 slides, which was still too many for that particular presentation. But you know what? It was a really interesting exchange, and I think it really challenged the person that was presenting. And look, as I said, there's no hard and fast rule. There's quite a lot of information out there about that, and there does seem to be that rule of thumb about the 10 slides between, for a 20-minute presentation. But if you've got some really beautiful photographs that you want to flick through and share, because it's all about sharing a program or a project that you're working on, by all means, please don't feel like that's hard and fast. It's just some really interesting advice that I think is well worth thinking about. Thank you, Lexi. Next slide. All right, so other ways to make it engaging. These are just a few little short, sharp points that I've found over the years, and also just doing the research. It's interesting to know with the research that our human brain, we process images faster than text. So it's really good to use images and graphics to get your point across rather than filling up your slides with too much text. I think we sometimes feel like we have to put all the bits and pieces down on the slide so that we remember it. But in actual fact, on the day, we often can't use that text. So think about how you can demonstrate or reflect what you're saying with your content, with those graphics and images. And you know what? That white space also helps to focus attention on the key elements of your slide. So don't clutter your slides. It stops your key ideas from standing out. It's a bit like when we're out and about and we just see too many signs telling us what to do or giving us directions, and we actually completely miss the point on the key message because we're overloaded with all these words and signs. So I think sometimes as communicators, we've just got to take that step back and think about less is more. Pretty obvious, and it's all very difficult. I know I've got a very deep mono sort of voice, but variations in voice tone, pitch, speed. Sometimes we think we've got to speed things up because we haven't got much time, but in actual fact, you end up, rolling over your words like I do sometimes. So really slow it down using open body language just to keep your audience engaged. I know these are things that you are all aware of. It's just interesting and worth going through. Look, adding sound or video, just little snippets to demonstrate a particular project or a topic can really add depth to your presentation, especially if you're trying to depict something that's happening out in the field or something that's just a beautiful community engagement program in your local area. So I would suggest, though, once again, keeping it short. Around 1 minute of audio or video is more than enough to demonstrate or depict what you're trying to talk about. But what I do say to you is don't forget to download the video or audio file as an MP3 or MP4. I know it all sounds very technical. If you need more information, I can help with an email. But make sure or talk to a technical person and embed the video as a file. So what I'm saying is don't just have the link to a YouTube or the link to where that video is on your website. That causes problems on the day. It may be that for some reason the Wi-Fi lets you down or it's slow to load up and all of a sudden you've lost a minute trying to get on. If it's sitting there in the back of your slide as an embedded file, it clicks on as you're pointing to it, so it's much better to navigate. And don't forget to concentrate on your breathing, slowing it down, and breathe deeply to help calm your nerves. And also just getting back to that video file, as well as having it embedded on your PowerPoint when you get it to us. Also bring it with you on the day in a little USB stick, and then you've got the backup. Just lots of things like that, little things like that gives you a peace of mind, helps you sleep better as well the day before. All right, thank you very much. Now, Lexi, I'd just like you to put on the next slide, and I'm just going to go through a few things about the day, just that I want you to be aware of. And as I said before, please don't, you don't have to be, writing all these instructions down. This information will be sent to you as a confirmation email well before the day. I won't be sending this information out to you this afternoon either, because it'll get lost in your emails. It'll be more closer to the event, but you'll receive them all via email just before the event. But things that I really wanted to just talk to you about is arriving early. Please make sure you arrive early so that you have time to register as a delegate. And then you need to locate the Speakers Prep Centre, which is located on the ground floor of the ICC. Now, the reason I'm telling you this today is because you need to be at that Speakers Prep Centre an hour before, so you can check your preloaded presentation. So your PowerPoint's all preloaded by a technical person, but it gives you an opportunity to check your slides, and you can make any changes if necessary on the day. So it's a really good thing to do. It gives you peace of mind. And if you're not there an hour before, it's a bit like a check-in process. We'll be picking you off. And if you're not there in the building at that time, we will start to try and look for you. So it's really important that you do that. You can check, as I said before, you can check your presentation, update it in the Speakers Prep. But once you get in that streamed workshop space, the room that you'll be speaking in, you will not be able to make changes to your PowerPoint because it's already been preloaded and it's all ready to go, and there's actually no opportunity to go in and make the changes then. Please bring your own water bottle with you. Fresh water will be available at refill stations, but we do ask you to bring your own water bottle on the day. And it's just a bit of a COVID safe thing, but it's also good for the environment. So we're not handing out lots of bottled water. It's really important to understand that you need to be prepared to use a microphone on the day, even if you think the room's small enough for your voice to be projected. There's people with hearing impairment problems, and it's just one of those issues that it's much easier for people to not have to concentrate on trying to listen to you as well as taking a whole lot of new valuable information. There will be a choice between a lapel mic or a lectern mic. So you can choose between, if you're one of those handsy people or if you're a person that's very happy to stand at the lectern, you'll have that choice. All your rooms will be equipped with a data projector screen and a smart lectern, which is where you'll be clicking on to start your PowerPoint on the day, with the microphone as well. And you'll have a wireless mouse as well. You'll need to bring your own pointer if you've got one. If you can think about that, that'd be a great thing to have. And sometimes I think it's best if you have your own pointer because you're familiar with it rather than using someone else's. So if there's anything else that you require on top of any of the technical basic stuff that you'll have sound. If you've got audio or video, there'll be sound, and you've got the PA in the room. You'll be using the microphone and all of that. You just need to email us on that door at landcareaustralia.com.au if you think you need anything more in addition to the basic technical package that most people would have. So look, that's it from me on the day. I think we've pretty well gone through the sort of preparation that we want you to have a think about. And probably the most important thing is to say good luck. And it's pretty difficult at this point in time to be talking about borders and potential outbreaks of COVID. As we know, it's a moving feast. So I just would like to say, if there's anything that is worrying you prior to this event, I think it's too early for us to be worried about anything at this point. But if for some reason you are unable to make it due to some sudden travel restrictions or some problems in regards to COVID or an illness, there's potential. If you can organise for someone to replace you, it's probably going to be the optimum and the most important thing. But if not, please contact us as soon as you can. It's going to be really important that we know things like that well and truly up front. But given last minute stuff, we know as well. So we've just got to be really flexible in this space these days. So that's it from me. And Lexi is coming back. Thank you for your technical expertise then. That was awesome.
No problem. What a seamless transition. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks Marie for those fantastic tips. I'm sure everyone found it immensely helpful. And it's awesome to see everyone posting from all the different beautiful countries that they are tuning in from. Now we do have a couple of questions that came through on Landcare that we should address just before finishing up. The first question comes from Philip, and Philip asks, do we have to use the provided background logo graphic on every slide or just the opening slide?
You don't have to use it on every slide, no, not at all. And we gave you a PowerPoint template because we understand that some groups would not, or organisations, generally organisations have their own template, but no, that's not necessary at all. And I understand that sometimes people use their whole slide for their graphics or information. So no, good question, but I hope that pretty well answers that one.
Awesome. And we have one more question. Now Marnie Ellis asks, is there an option to present from afar? The way Victoria continues to go into lockdown, this is a concern. And that is very fair. I'm so sorry, all Victorians.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Marnie, for that question. It is really worth thinking about. Look, our feeling at this point is we'd really, really love to have people there face-to-face presenting. As you can imagine, we have 370 people registered to attend. And what we don't want to have happen is people turning up as a face-to-face delegate to then be, I guess, experiencing a very virtual conference at a venue in the middle of Sydney. I think we all know how important face-to-face has become, and I also think we all know how problematic face-to-face has become as well. So I guess that's why I just wanted to finish with that moving feast quote saying, I know it's really hard and I'm really sorry. There's so much uncertainty, but at this stage, I've been talking to Melissa, who's our Director of Marketing Communications, and we both are on the same page about we really, really would love people to be there in person, but we understand that if that's not possible, let's have that conversation closer to the event. We've still got over 6 weeks, just over 6 weeks, so I think we can still keep it going as it is. Sorry, Marnie, I know it's not black and white answer, but it's not a black and white question.
Fantastic. All right, it looks like that's all the questions that we've had come through on Landcare. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. It's been a pleasure, albeit a one-way stream for us. If you do have any other queries, please don't hesitate to get into contact. And remember, please, to engage and to post in that online delegate group. There are a lot of people there looking forward keenly to interacting with the knowledge that you have and the expertise that you have. So please leverage that to your advantage. Write a story about what you'll be presenting about so people are aware, and encourage them to attend on the day. And we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Lexi. And I'd just like to also add, congratulations on well done to all those guest speakers stream speakers that have been chosen to present. It was just, there was well over 200 abstracts submitted for this event, and you guys, 40 of your, abstracts have been, confirmed to present, and they are on the subjects and the topics are great. It's going to be so exciting. I just hope that I've got time to get to at least some of them, and I'm not running around like a crazy person on the day. So good luck with the presentations, with the preparation for your presentations, and I look forward to seeing as many as I can. Certainly we'll look at them as recorded sessions after as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Lovely to chat.
Bye.
Bye.